welcome back to another episode of Mademoiselle Diaries. I am Aurelia, the founder of Mademoiselle Diaries. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. I'm here to help you become your most beautiful, elegant, and feminine self. If you are new on this femininity journey, ladies, you're here for a ride because it is one of the most beautiful things that you can do for yourself as a woman. Today we're speaking on a topic that I find so important. It's so important for us ladies to talk about this. And unfortunately, when it comes to dating, a lot of us didn't grow up in a household where we talk about dating, where we talk about relationships, we talk about what to even look for in a man, what to avoid, and we end up entering the dating scene almost blind. We're so blind, we just follow what everyone else is doing, and it's like this situation where the blind is leading the blind, or sometimes we stumble upon a man and then we use that as a guidance that this is what we're supposed to actually settle for. And unfortunately, a lot of women go through the cycle of just getting their heart broken so many times and repeating the same cycle over and over again. And yeah, ladies, this might be a long video, so grab your coffee, grab your drink. I am personally speaking from experience. I'm speaking to you ladies like you are my little sisters. One of my favorite roles in this life that God has blessed me with is to be a big sister. I have two amazing little sisters. Some of you might actually lack this big sister figure in your life who's going to give you dating advice and all of this, woman advice. And I just want to be that woman for you, ladies. I really want to give you that big sister role that I just needed, especially when I was entering the dating scene, because I always say this, but it was a whole jungle. It was a jungle. I did not know what to do. I was just looking at everyone to kind of guide me, and obviously that is just not the way to go. But one thing that we talk often about when it comes to just navigating life in general, I like to see it from a lens of full accountability and extreme ownership of your life. I think this is something that we need to have as women. We need to have extreme ownership in our lives. A lot of the content that I see, unfortunately, on social media and on TikTok, on Instagram, it's very black and white content. And I've talked about this a lot in my previous videos, where a lot of the dating advice that you would see on social media on a trendy reel, it's probably less than 60 seconds, and they give you very black and white advice. If he does this, then he's red flag. If he does this, then you should leave him, cut him off. I think that is such a sad view of relationships and of humanity in general. And it keeps us in a cycle of always trying to fix other people rather than actually start here. You are the only person that you can actually control. So if you are struggling in dating, ladies, I urge you to look at yourself, to not look at the men around you. I did this mistake so much. Every single time I ended a situationship, I was constantly blaming the man. I did this probably 3 to 4 times in a row. It's insane. I did this so many times in a row. And finally, I decided to take ownership of my own life. Like, why am I giving my control, my life, to other people, in other people's hands, in other men's hands? Like, this is my life. I have full ownership over it. And this video, we're not going to be giving all these traits of like men who can't commit. We're not doing that. We're actually gonna be looking inwards. Okay, how can I take accountability for the situation that I'm currently in? And that's when you're able to actually make real lasting change. This alone, ladies, with this mentality alone, it will take you so far in your relationship, not only your relationship, but literally your career, your finances, everything. It will take you so far than if you were just to dwell in this place and blame men around you. So I just wanted to say that before we get started. I really don't want this to be another video of like, okay, you should look out for these traits in men and then never work on yourself. Because as Mademoiselle's lady, we're constantly working on ourselves, and we're always striving to become these extraordinary and beautiful, elegant women. All right, now that we're on the same page, my little sisters, let's get started. How do you stop attracting men who won't commit to you. How do we stop attracting situationships? How do we stop attracting men to invest in you emotionally for the first week, for the first few weeks, and then ghost you? Number one, ladies, you need to know yourself. The thing that we often do is we entertain men who we don't even see a future with. We don't even know if we actually really like them. And we spend all this time investing in them and trying to look good for them. Nothing wrong with trying to look good for people, but we're molding ourselves into this woman that we're clearly not, and we're entertaining men, but we're not even sure ourselves if they're actually right for us. Do we even like them? Instead of constantly focusing on, am I the right fit for him? We never even stop to ask ourselves, like, do I actually like him? Do I actually like him? Is he actually a good man? Is he a man who can lead me properly, who can lead a family in the future? Because what is the point of dating? And we're talking about, men who can't commit. So if you're watching this video, I'm guessing that you're tired of dating temporarily and that you want to actually date with intention and date long term for marriage. Hopefully at the end, by the grace of God, you guys will get married. That is the big goal, because what is the point of dating and investing so much time only for yourself to get heartbroken? Again, I think there's so much value in heartbreaks. I've gotten my heart broken a few times already, and I think that's a big reason why I started Mademoiselle Diaries. But if we can avoid that, let's avoid that. Let's avoid getting so invested into these men, because the inner work that you have to do, the rebuilding part it's so long, ladies. It takes a lot out of you. It is really it shatters me, honestly, to see these women literally lose their sense of self-worth, and some women actually just stay there and they settle for these kinds of very mediocre men in relationships, and they're never fulfilled. They're always in the cycle. Okay, this man won't commit to me, let me find this other man, this next man, and this next man, and it just never ends. So ladies, why do we do this? Why do we entertain men who we're not even sure if we're interested in them? It's because we don't know ourselves. If we don't know what we want, it's because we don't know ourselves. If your identity feels unstable, you will naturally tend to look for external anchors, whether that be in men, in relationships. You're seeking validation from a man. So if you see a man giving you validation, even just a little bit, you cling on to that. That is your anchor, because you don't know yourself. You don't have a sense of worth yet, or you don't know just how worthy you are. And so you're looking at these men to validate you. Or maybe you could be looking on social media. I remember when I was in this very insecure stage, like I did not have a sense of self at all. I not only was struggling with men, but I was really addicted to my image on social media, my reputation. I was people pleasing constantly in my day-to-day life. And even posting one story, like of myself, of my face, literally just a story, it will disappear after 24 hours. I had to ask 4 different people. The people around me at that time, honestly, God bless them, because I was unbearable to be around with. Like, I was very vain. I was so focused on these external anchors, on people's attention, because I didn't have a sense of self at all. I didn't have that internal knowing within me. I just did not have it. So I kept looking outwardly. Okay, what can give me validation? That's what we're doing as women. When we do not know ourselves, we're always looking outwardly. Ladies, these external anchors, they will never be enough. They will never gratify you. I'm telling you, back then I used to post a lot of these photos that perhaps I wouldn't post now. I guess you would call them thirst traps, because I would want, these men to be attracted to me, to react to my story, to like my story. If they reacted to my story, I thought that I was the winner of it all. Like I have it all. Like I'm it. It's just one emoji. Like that's what I actually settled for. An emoji, a fire emoji. If you're still doing this, I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you at all, because I've been there. But you realize, like, more and more, these things are just not enough. You have a deep spiritual hole, and you have a deep craving inside of you, to be filled. Honestly, it can only be filled by God, and you're trying to replace the spiritual hole with attention from men, with social media, with people praising you for your beauty and all of that, and it's very empty. It's endless, ladies. Like, I want you to actually focus inward, especially if you're constantly attracting these kinds of men. Take a break. Take a break from dating. I would say just take a break from dating and do the inner work, do the healing. You going on another date, it's not gonna fill that big spiritual hole that you really need to work on. Like, you really need to start reconnecting with God, with a higher power. Like, you can't be doing this over and over again. I've done this over and over again 3 to 4 times, ladies. It took me a while to understand, but eventually I set myself down. I told myself, like, what? Like, I keep doing this over and over again. Like, this is just insane. And I'm done. I'm truly done. And at that moment, I was on an exchange in Australia, so it was such perfect timing. I was far from everyone that I knew. I knew nobody in Australia. But I moved there for a university exchange. I told myself, I'm taking a break from dating. I'm taking a break from seeing men. I did not want to overly invest anymore in a man who just does not see a future with me. And I really focused inward, ladies. Like, I journaled so much during that time. I probably wrote in around 2 total journals during that time. It was a lot of inner work, and I really got comfortable with being single and to deprive myself of that attention. Even during that time, during those 4 or 5 months in Australia, I quit social media. I deactivated it, and it was so much needed, because I just felt like, even though I said to myself, like, I'm gonna stop seeing these men, I was still trying to impress them via social media. And one night, I remember this, I was journaling. I told myself, like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm literally spending hours finding one story to post, and just to get one react emoji. Like, this is what I'm settling for. This is insane. I decided to stop that, and I stopped using social media for a whole probably 5 to 6 months, and that did so much wonder for me. I recommend you, ladies, if you have this tendency to post things just for the man to actually look at it, to just deactivate and take a break from social media. It's really, really important. Social media can really be a very toxic place, especially when you're doing the inner work and you're healing. Take as much time as you can offline, and really just start to connect with the real life, and you realize, like, wow, there's just so much beauty in the real life, and there's so many things that I could be doing even alone. When I say alone, I'm just saying, like, single, like not being in a relationship or not dating. I'm not saying isolate yourself, not at all. I think isolation is not good. But surround yourself with amazing people. I remember I spent the whole semester with this one best friend. I didn't have many friends, but I just spent it with my one best friend, Afla, at the time. And we were just in such a beautiful journey together. We were visiting jazz clubs, we were dressing up, we were journaling together, we were painting together. And I just found so much beauty. I found so much beauty in that friendship. And I feel like that friendship actually increased my standards in dating afterwards. And yeah, that's an underrated part of friendship, and we'll get more into that in the second part. But just how your friends can literally upgrade your standards. The way that my friends treat me, the way that they love me, they shower me with so much love, it has raised my standards when it comes to dating. So yeah, number 1 is to know yourself. There's an amazing book that I've recommended multiple times on Instagram, and that is The Meaning of Marriage by Timothy Keller. This is especially for my faith-based or Christian ladies. Highly recommend reading this, but even if you're not Christian, I think it's such an amazing book, because it speaks about just this view that God has about marriage, this beautiful bond between man and woman, and like that transcendental love, that divine love. And reading this book, I swear I had butterflies all throughout reading this book. And I read this probably 3 times, because I had such a shattered view of love after all of my situationships. I had such a shattered and distorted view of love and what relationships and marriage should be about. And this book is amazing, especially even if you're in a single season, or you're just starting a relationship, or you're even in the middle of a relationship. It's perfect for this. It has a whole chapter on singleness, on relationships and dating, but it really talks about how you actually cannot fill the spiritual hole with people, with anything other than God. That's what we're trying to do. Even people who are in long-term relationships who are super unfulfilled, is because you're constantly trying to mold this man into God. That man does not have the power to fulfill you. That man does not have power to fill in that spiritual hole that you have. Only God can. And that's why for me, doing the inner work, it means connecting with God. It means literally being in prayer every single day, meditating, connecting with Him, talking to Him all the time. And a lot of us have such a, again, also distorted view about God, because maybe we're brought up in a certain way with religion. But I want you to just remove all of that noise, all of that programming of religion that you've been so conditioned with growing up. And I just want you to connect with God. Connecting with God has risen my standards like nothing else in this world. Even in the midst of my relationship, it's been 2 years now that I'm with my partner, I need to do this daily, because I feel like as humans, we have a tendency, even in relationships, we have a tendency to want to place your partner in this category that is almost like spiritual, that he has the answer to everything, and if he doesn't do this right, then like I feel so torn. Like, no, like let's relax. Connect with God. There's so many times when for example, I'm in conflict with my partner, and in the morning I would be just in prayer and then reading my Bible, and then I'd be like, wow, like I don't know why I was so stirred up like that. I don't know why I was so angry at him. There's no reason for me to be this way. And it's only when I actually reconnect with God that I have that confrontation, that I'm actually confronted with the idea like, okay, I don't need to look to Him for all of my big spiritual problems. I don't need to do that. I have God who does that every single day with me in the morning. My dependence on Him is so real, and I urge you ladies to have that dependence on God as well. I hope that you're reminded of just how beautiful your own life can be. I'm not even going to tell you to love yourself. I think loving yourself is important, but I'm going to tell you, love just experiencing yourself. Does that even make sense? Like, I want you to love being yourself. I want you to love being alone. Again, I'm not saying isolation, but I want you to actually love this experience that you have with yourself. Consider yourself a friend, and do the inner work, connect with God, and I swear your standards automatically will lift. And before even saying a word, they will be completely different. The men who can't commit and who are just here for the short term, they can't even approach you. They don't even have the guts to approach you, because you exude this energy already. I really believe in energy and like how you carry yourself before you even speak. Ladies, it will change your life. It will change your life. And that's why I'm so obsessed with learning and talking about feminine energy, learning about how to connect with your femininity. And for me, obviously, it's connecting with my faith. I'm so obsessed with it. Like, I love it because it has changed my life. The people, the friends, the men that will come to you will look totally different, okay? Anyway, that's about it for point 1. Let's move on to point 2. I want you ladies to examine your circle and inputs, because your environment literally shapes who you attract. There's this verse in, I think it was 1 Corinthians, that says that bad company corrupts good character, that even if you have the best morals, that your standards are top, if you're surrounded with bad company, it will corrupt your character. And this is a psychological fact. This has been studied, the environment that you're in. I made a whole video about even the city that you're in, how that really shapes you as a person. So literally, your friends, how much more your friends will actually influence you. Honestly, when I was in the situationships era, a lot of my friends were actually going through the same things as well. Like, they also came to me with the same problems, and we would be complaining with each other about the men that we were seeing. And honestly, when I look back at it, I'm like, Wow, we were really leading ourselves astray, and it's like literally the blind leading the blind. I can laugh about it now, but I still love these friends. Like, I genuinely love these friends. Some friends have also grown with me, and I'm so grateful for that. Really, you need to examine the friends that you're surrounded with. If your friends are in relationships that they're so miserable in, or they're in cycle of short-term relationships or situationships, you need to really reflect if you want that for yourself as well, because eventually it will creep up into your life. No matter how much you say to yourself like you have good self-control, that you're not like your friends, it will actually rub off on you. It doesn't just go in relationships, it actually goes even career, mindset wise, finances, like just the mindset that your friends have, it will rub off on you. I've been so careful with this recently, and I've been very selective with the people that I consider my friends now, and it's almost like I have to tighten my circle more and more and more. I recently actually was with a friend. We used to like making jokes about being broke, not having much to do with life in life. And I noticed that she was also bringing up these kinds of jokes again and again. And I was like, oh, I was starting to relate to her. And I'm like, no, I'm not affirming that. I'm not going to claim that over my life. Like, I'm not doing that. So you don't realize these little comments, and it will actually really influence how you set the standards in your life too. I made the conscious decision, to really examine my friends and to spend a very limited amount of time with friends who I really don't align with, and when I see their lives I don't feel inspired by. And this might sound a little bit ruthless. It is. That's just how it is. Like, the Bible literally said bad company corrupts good moral, and it's just so important, ladies. Like, you still love these people. I love all the friends that I've had in the past, but I can't be hanging out with people who are constantly lusting over men, or who just want these kind of very short-term relationships, or who do casual dating. I cannot be doing that, because I just know that subconsciously I will actually start to normalize that behavior, and I don't want to normalize that behavior. I want my standards to be high at all times, and for my standards to be high, I need to see that it's possible. I need to see proof of people with beautiful relationships. If I don't see that in my reality, how can I have great standards in relationship? And when I made the conscious decision, I'm not gonna lie, like, I did go through a whole period, probably a whole year, where I didn't have a lot of friends. I probably had one or two go-to friends, and the rest, it would be friends that I would see once in a while. But I was okay with that. Like, I really spent that time being disgustingly educated, educating myself, doing so much inner work, journaling so much, and learning and applying that, and just attaining wisdom. And ladies, it's so worth it. I think as ladies, we also need to go through a period where we're almost like a hermit. Again, I don't want to condone isolation. If you already have amazing friends, great. But I know that for most of us, it actually takes time to make amazing friends. And, you might need to put yourself out there as well. Going to, I don't know, church events or networking events, all these kinds of events that that the high level woman will be there. You need to surround yourself with these kinds of women. You can't be surrounding yourself with women who settle for nothing, who settle for crumbs when it comes to men. Now, my friends, the friends that my partner and I have, we have a lot of friends who are also in relationships, and we like to hang out with them. Ladies, the way I feel, I'm not gonna say called out, I'm called higher constantly, just by looking at the girlfriends, the boyfriends, how they treat each other. And these are people that I know from connect groups, so it's a totally different context than maybe if I were to meet these people from a club or bar. Totally different context. But I see the way that the girlfriends are treating the boyfriends. I'm like, ooh, you are calling me higher. The first time that we hung out, the first few months, I felt insecure, honestly, but I'm so glad, because it really put a new standard for how I should also act in my relationship, what I should even expect as well in my boyfriend. Again, it's not about like comparing yourself, but actually maybe it is, because that's what we humans do. We look outside to get a better idea of our current reality. So you need good examples of amazing and healthy relationships, and the standards that my current friends have said for me, like, these people, they're getting engaged, they have a clear plan, they're not wasting time, and I think both of us, like me and my partner, being surrounded by these people who are very godly, and it just really made us reflect even more. Okay, like, we don't want to waste time as well. We're not going to waste time on petty stuff. Normalize things like lust. Even when I hang out with a different group and I'm talking about lust and how maybe I'm struggling with it, they're like, what are you talking about? Like, that's your boyfriend, you can do whatever you want with them. But man, the people that I've met, they have totally, I mean, Christ gave me a totally new, different standard, obviously, but they don't normalize lust, all these kinds of things, even when they're in a relationship. That is, for me, just a totally new, different standard than what I've ever been exposed to in my life. Maybe some of you ladies might think this is extreme, but it has been so amazing and beneficial for my relationship. Same with social media content as well, what you're consuming on social media, because I really believe that it's not just your friends, it's not just your circle. Now we have access to digital media and social media, we're on it constantly. So what you watch on there, pay attention to everything that you consume on social media, on TV. Stop watching Love is Blind, all these shows that really treat women as almost like these disposables, where dating is just it's just a weird thing. It's pretty disgusting when I look at it. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna be honest, but I feel like it's really disgusting be viewing a relationship this way. It's just, there's no true love. It's just full of lust and full of my own desires, my own pleasure, rather than actually like wanting to serve one another. And I think we should just all stop watching Love is Blind or The Bachelorette or whatever kind of show. But I don't want you ladies to normalize this kind of behavior, because the things that you consume, you actually also normalize. So have great examples in real life, but also online. Start following men who are in their healthy masculinity, because some of us, I know, we haven't been able to grow up with a beautiful example of what a healthy masculine man should be. And we're looking at our failed dating experiences, and we're kind of comparing to, okay, I just need to get a man who is slightly better than the last one. But no, like, there's so much better than that. There's so much better than the last one. Like, ladies, let's not do that, okay? Let's actually look at beautiful examples of healthy masculine men. It is so attainable to you, and you can have this kind of relationship where a man is so healthy in his masculinity. You just need to brainwash yourself. You need to brainwash yourself into thinking that these men are real, because they are real, they exist. You're just not looking in the right places. And I personally, at the time when I was a little bit isolated and I was single I was not really seeing men for, I guess, a little bit more than half a year, probably 8 months. I was literally just alone. I was watching a lot of content from R.C. Blake's. Ladies, for those of you who knows R.C. Blake's, he's the best. He's the best. I wasn't even Christian when I was listening to him, but he offers amazing advice. He was almost like a father figure to me, and I thank him so much for setting up the standard of what a healthy masculine man should be and what I should tolerate and should not tolerate. So R.C. Blake's. Another one that I loved at the time was Stephen Speaks. These two men were amazing, and they made me realize that good men actually exist. Good men are real. They exist. Not all men are trash. These men exist. Make sure that you keep an eye on the inputs, because that will set the standard and what you will actually tolerate in your life. Last point that I will get into is having boundaries. Protect your heart, protect your mind, protect your body, mental, emotional, physical. I'm accentuating on the physical boundaries. I'm gonna tell you ladies a little story. When I first met my current partner, I was so confused. We've been on 4 dates and hanging out for some time already, and he still hadn't made a move. And I was telling my friend, I don't know, maybe he's just considering me as his friend. Maybe he doesn't really like see anything with me. Gosh, I was so brainwashed because I really thought that men who make a move early on, it basically signals interest in you. Maybe it does show interest in you, but they're only interested in you physically. And why are they such in a rush to be all physical with you in the first few days? Like, calm down. That was what I was used to. I was used to these men just rushing. And even the first few days, I was so used to that. And when I was with my man and the first few days he didn't do anything, not even hold my hand, I was confused. I am so grateful. I'm so blessed. Like, genuinely, I don't know what I did to deserve this, because at the time, even when I met him, I think I wasn't fully healed, and it's fine. You don't need to be fully 100% healed to be in a relationship, but I wasn't fully ready for this kind of respect from a man. And I think as ladies, we tolerate so much disrespect from men. We tolerate this so much. We don't have sense of self-respect. I made a whole video about self-respect, so ladies, feel free to watch that. Please watch that if you're struggling. But men will do this so much, especially these days, where they will try to test you by maybe putting a hand on your thigh or holding your hand or just touching you a little bit. When you see a man doing this in the first few days, run. Literally run. That is over. Next shows to me that this man has no self-control. And even though you might feel, oh, but I also want to be physical with him, I want to be affectionate with him early on. Ladies, a man who has no self-control with you, he will also not have self-control in the relationship, meaning he will lust over other women very, very easily. And that's something we don't talk about. That is something we don't talk about. And let's talk about that, okay? Like, a man who cannot just have a little bit of self-control. How do you expect him to have self-control in the relationship? You cannot expect that. And when you don't challenge him, when he gets you right away, like, he's out, like, he's happy. And doesn't that happen often? I see this happening so much with my friends, where they go on a first few dates and then the woman finally gets intimate with the man, and the man starts to be a little bit more distant, emotionally distant, eventually ghost her because he got everything that he needed and that he wanted. The reason why I say that physical boundaries is really important, especially early on in the relationship, is because as women, when we get intimate with a man, even when we're cuddling and kissing them in the beginning, our body produces oxytocin. And a lot of women will say, no, when I hook up with men and I do these one night stands, I don't feel anything, it's meaningless. But actually, that's not true, because your body literally produces oxytocin, which is the love and bonding hormone. So you feel bonded with this other person that you were intimate with. When they start to be intimate with a man, they will start to really idolize this person and really start to see this person with rose-colored glasses and ignore all the red flags that are very, very clear to a normal person, but she will ignore them because she has these rose-colored glasses. Her body is releasing so much oxytocin. That's very biological. As women, we can get pregnant once every 9 months. For men, there's no limit. They can make a woman pregnant as many times as possible. So our bodies, this is how our bodies are designed. We're meant to cling on to the man who can actually give us a child, protect us. That's how our body responds. I think it's just so genius, by the way, how God designed our bodies, because there's a reason why the oxytocin is increasing. Like, you need to trust the man to take care of you and your kid, and that's just biological. And men actually also do release oxytocin, but they also release dopamine and testosterone driven chemicals, and these are usually linked with a sense of achievement, pleasure, reward. And that's why they feel a sense of achievement when they get intimate with a woman. They will start talking about it with all their friends. It's because there's all this testosterone coming up, and for them, it gives them a sense of achievement. And I'm going to talk a little bit sciencey here because I did my research, but after being intimate, men will often experience also a drop in dopamine and then a rise of prolactin. So prolactin is that hormone that will induce that relaxation, that clarity. I don't want to get into the details, but there's a saying with blah 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 clarity, post blah 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 clarity. You fill that in, because I don't want to be banned on YouTube. I don't know if they ban these kind of things, but that's the emotional distance that we talk about as women, and we wonder why they're emotionally distant all of a sudden. Is because they have more clarity, and us women is the opposite. For them it's finished, and for us, we're just getting started. Clarity after he gets intimate with a woman, for him it's basically the reward is already there. He already achieved what he needed to do. A woman, that's her starting point. That's like, she needs to be nurtured and nurtured and nurtured. That's how our bodies are. So I think, especially as women, we need to protect ourselves. That is a true feminism. This narrative that we can hook up with anyone that we want makes me really, really sad, because it goes against our biology. And I'm not even going to talk about biology, but genuinely, like, spiritually and emotionally, you see these women are so unfulfilled. They're so unfulfilled, and I've seen it with myself, I've seen it with my friends, and I don't want you ladies to go through this cycle. It's so miserable, ladies. I want you to have strong boundaries physically, to treat your body as a temple, because it is a temple. Your body is so sacred. Your body is so sacred. Say that with me. Like, my body is so sacred. Like, my body is a freaking temple. It is a temple, okay? I'm treating my body so well, even with the little habits of eating. I'm gonna eat healthy because I care about this body so much. Health is everything. Your body is everything. I want you ladies to really start loving this body and respecting it. Okay, respect it, because how else are you gonna navigate life if you don't respect your body? Men will never respect you. Usually, sometimes what happens when a woman is just starting to be attached to the man after maybe getting intimate with him, and the man starts to be a little bit more distant. As women, we try everything. We are emotionally invested now. We're waiting on the text. We get so worked up, and I want you ladies to note this down. It's called the IKEA Effect. They have all these tables or chairs, and what they do is they send you the table. For example, you order a table, you have the table, and then they give you instructions on how to build it, and then you build it yourself. And by the end, because you spent so much effort and energy into building your table, you actually start to value it more. This is basic human psychology. The more time and energy that you invest in something, you value it more. And so the table in IKEA, you will start to value it more, and that's actually literally called IKEA effect. It's almost like a manipulation tactic based on human psychology. The same thing happens with men. The more you invest yourself emotionally, and now you're worked up in your head waiting for a text, the more you actually start to value this man. You put him in a place that he just does not belong. He does not belong there, girl. He does not belong there. But you place him so much higher because you're so worked up, and you're in this sunk cost fallacy mindset that I've invested so much time and energy and resources in this man. This has to work out. I need to see him one more time. I need to be intimate with him one more time. All these things, and it's a lie. It's a lie. This sunk cost is a fallacy. Forget about the sunk cost. Focus on the now. I hope you guys are understanding this, but I'll just give you an example. Imagine there's man A. Man A, let's name him John. John treats you amazing. He picks you up, he communicates well, he shows interest, and he is consistent. Actually, I had a John in my life when I was in my situationship season, where this man really just picked me up in a beautiful car, paid for the date, opened doors for me, was very consistent in his communication. He really took care of everything during that date. Something about me still didn't feel attracted to him because I was so fixated on man B. Let's call man B Nick. Nick is very hot and cold. He sends you mixed signals. He never really commits. He makes you pay on dates. He does 50-50. Never picks you up. And you've spent months and months trying to make it work with him. Women who are not healed will probably go with Nick. Women who are unhealed will go with this man who just is hot and cold because they're suddenly more worked up. They're like, okay, I need to work harder for this man to be interested in me. And that's exactly what happened with me. I chose Nick over, what is his name? John. I chose Nick over John because Nick really had all these this effect in me, and I invested so much of my energy. But honestly, that is based on a wounded view of love. I was not healed. So for me, that was what I was looking for, the crazy butterflies and the insane emotions. But really, John, man A, is the one who's going to be your lasting man. He will be the one who will actually commit to you, okay? So let's not fall for Nicks. Let's not fall for hot and cold. Let's not fall for that. Okay, ladies, it's been almost an hour since I've been talking. But I really hope that at least one of you have had a shift throughout this video. I don't want you ladies to build your sense of self-worth in a man. I want you to build your own identity, your own life, and your standards first. You don't have to be 100% healed to be in a relationship, but I want you to at least know yourself so that you know what you actually should be looking for in a relationship. And again, look at your friends, pay attention to your circle, pay attention to your inputs. I always talk about the ear gates, I talk about the eye gates. It's because it's really important. The things that you consume, your inputs, you will also normalize, and they will become your standards. And ultimately, ladies, my biggest encouragement for you ladies is to reconnect with God, because the way God has risen my standards over and over and over again, even in my relationship right now, a relationship is always evolving. The relationship that I was in 2 years ago with my current boyfriend is totally different than the one that I'm in now. And with God, putting God at the center and really prioritizing our own relationship with God, it's like the standard keeps increasing, but in a really good way. You know, we inspire each other to do better every single day, and there's that bigger accountability that is higher than us. It's actually from God, because we both have a personal relationship with God. So I think it's my biggest encouragement for you ladies. And you know, for the longest time I wondered, like, how come people who are religious or who have a relationship with God, or I don't like to use the word religious because there's always different connotation, but who are very spiritually connected with God, how come they're getting married so fast, and how come they're having these beautiful relationships? And maybe sometimes it's a little bit extreme, but I think it's because they really have something higher than themselves, that, you know, they have to hold themselves accountable ultimately to God and not just to the other person. And the other person is really meant to, I guess, help you become even more spiritually connected to God. And I think it's just a beautiful thing. Like, relationships are actually so beautiful, and the way that the world models relationship today is just so distorted. I'm so sorry, but I think there's some freaky enemy power going on, because why are we looking at relationships in this very dark lens that is very self-serving and selfish and very black and white, lustful way of looking at relationships can be so beautiful, and it is absolutely beautiful. And I want you to actually know this, okay? This is me, woman to woman, talking to you, coming from someone who genuinely was stuck in a cycle of situationships. It literally shattered my sense of self-worth. I had zero confidence. I was constantly looking for validation outwards. But this is me telling you from the other side, like, girl, this is amazing. Like, I love being in here. Like, it's so good to be treated well. It's so good to be treated well by a healthy masculine man. And it's so amazing to also be in a relationship where I can be in my feminine. You know, it exists. It exists. So why are you settling for men who will not even look at you past your body, past what you can offer him? We're not doing that. Mademoiselles, we don't do that. We do not do that. I'm a little bit passionate about this topic, can you tell? But anyway, I love talking to you ladies so much. Let me know what you guys want to see next. If you have any questions, I'm always available, my loves. All right, take care, my love. Have an amazing week. I'll see you next time. Mwah.